Do you think that a ceasefire also to Hezbollah and to Qasem would mean the end of the attack on Gaza? Because Hezbollah has stated numerously in the past that its efforts are to stop the assault on Gaza.
There is a Lebanese pressure, a massive pressure, because the Lebanese state is practicing pressure. The Prime Minister, the Lebanese people are practicing pressure on Hezbollah in this regard. There are loud voices appeared saying that we do not want to link our destiny to anyone else's destiny because the war destroyed Lebanon, because what happens in Lebanon is similar to what happens in Gaza. I think this is itself is a pressure on Hezbollah to separate both parties. And if Qasem in his speech today hasn't admitted the separation of both fronts, but I'd like to reiterate that talking about a ceasefire accepted by Hezbollah means that there is definitely a separation between the two fronts of Lebanon and Gaza. Hezbollah, in my opinion, is not in a position that allows it to practice pressure regarding another file, which is Gaza file. Hezbollah can barely manage its own file, its own affairs, the Lebanese affairs, to recover from the losses. I don't think that they can control several files at the same time as in the past.
Since you've mentioned the Lebanese Prime Minister and the pressure from inside Lebanon, there's been a meeting between the Prime Minister, Najib Mikati, and the Speaker of the Parliament, Nabih Berri. What do you think this meeting is going to account for, and does it act as some sort of pressure also?
Of course, what happened in almost a month or less than a month, there was a pressure. There's a pressure on the Lebanese Republic and on its political leaders, and this pressure moves from the Lebanese state and from the leaders to Hezbollah to walk towards a ceasefire and acceptance of certain conditions. Of course, the condition that does not affect the sovereignty of Lebanon and does not accept or subjugate to the demands of Netanyahu for air and land interference. But there is a pressure on the state and from the state on the party to accept a ceasefire based on a clear international resolution issued in 2006, and everyone in Lebanon agrees on. Even Hezbollah said they want the implementation of that resolution.
Do you think Hezbollah is going to submit to such pressure in light of the heavy airstrikes that's been ongoing to many of the Lebanese territories, specifically in the south, and well, there has been also airstrikes in the east and the west? I'm talking about Baalbek, Al-Khiyam, Sidon or Saida, and also drone strikes in Mount Lebanon.
I believe that they will accept the ceasefire. It's natural. With all of these events, with all of these strikes and the displacement that takes place on a wide scope, 3 or 4 days ago, the most important in Lebanon were hit, which are Sidon and Baalbek, and more than 300,000 people were displaced from their own homes because just the Israelis decided to strike a whole city. These cities represent the environment of Hezbollah, which is an added pressure on Hezbollah to stop the war. Hezbollah doesn't have lots of options. They talk about the battle, the land battle, and so on, but all the other factors practice pressure from the inside and from the outside and on the land by the displaced people in their popular environment, especially that we are a few days from the winter and Lebanon goes through very difficult economic conditions. There are no electricity or warming or clean water. All of these things are a pressure on Hezbollah to stop the war as soon as possible. As I said, but not with very surrendering or humiliating conditions. But if there's an international resolution, this resolution can be implemented. But the problem is that the Israelis, up till now, do not want to talk about this. They do not want to discuss the international resolution. They want to continue their battle, thinking that they can deter Hezbollah. And this is the dilemma here.
Right.
So I think it's not the issue of the Lebanese or Hezbollah. I think it's the issue of the Israelis now.